Hi, my name is Madison Meyer. I'm a current student at Liberty University under the Masters of Public Health program. My concentration is environmental health, and I will be focusing this presentation on the practicum overview on the importance of FDA and IMF refusal methods and the importance of PPE for FDA and IMF workers. The goal of my practicum was to create public knowledge on understanding pesticidal residue refusals from the FDA and IMF. I did this through researching and the use of FDA public records on pesticidal residues in the years 2001 and 2022. I created a brochure from the findings that I had from only the year 2022, since it is the most recent, and you can see part of that brochure I created on this slide. I also wanted to increase knowledge on personal protective equipment and benefits of multi-use PPE. I did this through a PowerPoint presentation training sessions that were 2 in total and was provided to the FDA and IMF workers, focusing on the benefits of PPE in their daily work activities. At the end of the training session, a survey was given to the participants where greater knowledge on the importance of PPE, 70% of the participants agreed. Will use PPE more in their daily work activities, 75% of participants agreed. And will request multi-use PPE, 65% of participants agreed. The design of my practicum project was data compiled from FDA records from the year 2001 to 2022 and data visualizations created in October of 2024 by myself. The brochure creation based on data visualizations I created in October, and the data visualizations were created through Tableau, which I learned how to use through a course at Liberty, which I highly recommend. If others can use it, definitely take it. It helped me a bunch. And also a PowerPoint presentation and survey given following 2 training sessions on PPE. The survey was completed through the Teams app on work computers following the completion of the training sessions. And since this was completed on FDA-owned devices, I am not able to screenshot the survey answers. I am only able to verbally show you and express them text-wise in this throughout this practicum. So on this results page, I have 2 visualizations provided from 2022 only for this practicum overview, since it is the most recent publicly available records. With the countries, I was very shocked to see that the United States was actually the highest amount of refused products within the United States, which was very interesting for pesticides with 467.6. And the second highest country is Mexico with 345.3 refused goods, followed by Canada with 112.2 refused due to pesticides. And Mexico and Canada did not surprise me very much, since they are our closest neighbors, that it would make sense with our trade history with them that these would co-align, but it was very shocking to see that the United States is actually the number 1 with refusals and pesticides. Continuing on this results section of this presentation, I also included my visualization that I created for the top 20 products identified with pesticidal residues in 2022 that were enough to cause the FDA and IMF to refuse these items. And all of these items wouldn't be a major shock, since they are either grown on the ground, grown through trees, so pesticidal usage throughout the world and in the United States is expected with these. But the top 3 that I found were potato, spinach, and lemon. And I think including this in not only my paper but in this presentation can allow the public to have an idea when they are shopping for their food, to gain an understanding of what items possibly contain even small amounts of pesticidal residue in them, but also give them peace in knowing that when they do purchase these items, they are constantly screened and make sure that they are safe for the public to consume them. Some challenges that I faced throughout my practicum, and especially during my researching for this project, was some resources that are publicly available for pesticides. We are in 2024, but because FDA is a government agency, public records that are the most recently available are in 2022, in many years prior, but I didn't feel the need to look past the most available 2 years because that will be the closest to how it is now and will give the public greater knowledge and understanding on kind of the trends that are occurring nowadays in pesticide usage and residues that are occurring and what type of chemicals, which I did provide a visualization on chemicals throughout the highest chemicals that are found when there are refuse because of pesticides, but I did not include it into this presentation for specific reasons. Another challenge that I faced was location of both brochure and PowerPoint presentations. I did have this both done at the local agencies that are occurring in my general area, which is Itasca, Illinois, which these challenges can happen because I cannot reach a broader group of people throughout the country, and also with the workers regarding the PPE because every office has their own beliefs on PPE, and because of my location and working with people in this general area, it kind of causes some specific bias per se when it comes to PPE usage and being able to allow the public to gain the brochures because of location wise. And also another challenge was expressing differences in when I'm working in my normal position and when I am working as a practicum student, because as I explained, this is also where I do my work and where I am employed. So sometimes I had trouble with coworkers in trying to get them to understand that while I am doing my practicum work, I am not doing my normal daily work activities. I am unable to assist at that time because this is a priority. Not the experiences I gathered, core competencies specifically, is public health and healthcare systems. Compare the organization, structure, and function at healthcare, public health, and regulatory systems across national and international settings. So the entire pesticidal research I done focused on the entire international settings through public health and regulatory systems, because I was able to kind of see that while pesticidal residues may be okay in some countries, they are too high in this country. That's why refusals happen. And some chemicals used for pesticide deterrents are maybe available and allowed in some countries, whereas they are not allowed in here, which causes many refusals to occur because of that. Another core competency is policy and public health. Evaluate policies for their impact on public health and health equity. I did this throughout my research when I was focusing on the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, the FD&C. That is the main focus of the FDA and the IMF. That gives us power over if we want to refuse such things, focusing on pesticides. So I did extensive research in the policies and the impact it has on public health, and in this aspect it is a good impact on both public health and health equity. The final core competency that I completed throughout this practicum experience was being on interprofessional practice, perform effectively on interprofessional teams. One of the big things that I did during my on-the-job training for this practicum was witnessing destructions for the IMF. And this works on working with the team to make sure that refuse goods that need to be destructed on U.S. soil are witnessed by FDA and IMF employees and are destructed correctly and safely so that no one can be able to use these products after we witness their destruction. My experiences for the concentration competencies, as I explained, my concentration is environmental health. And one of my competencies that I wanted to focus on was identify scientific, cultural, political, and ethical practices and decisions that may have adverse effect on at-risk human populations or sensitive ecosystems. So as I explained before, one of the big on-job shadowings that I involved myself with is destructions. Another one I did was inspecting medical devices. And specifically with medical devices, when I am inspecting these, I need to focus on the ethical practices that were done to make sure they were created properly and work properly so that at-risk human populations can use them safe and effectively. And the other competency that I completed during this practicum was analyze strategies to minimize or alleviate environmental impacts. And the other aspect of my on-job training that I did was the destructions, as I explained earlier. And with destructions, these occur outside, and they use a variety of ways to destruct, whether it's just opening bags or pouring bleach on them. But while I was doing this, I was thinking of ways, and will hopefully present these ways to minimize environmental impacts that these can possibly have, since they are being destroyed and thrown out. And us as a agency can think of better ways to help the environment and the impacts that these environmental hazards may have on our local environment. And these are the references I used throughout this presentation. Thank you very much, and I really appreciate it.